Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom. Tom, how's it going?
Well, Tony, on the last show, I jumped in very quickly and really took control of the show. I know you get very possessive, very defensive about that. Hey, this is my show. I'm the star of the show. I hear you say it all the time. Never on camera, obviously. Always, as soon as the camera's off and the people can't hear you, that's when the prima donna comes out. So, Tony, I don't want to step on your toes again. So, why don't you just tell the people what we're doing on this show?
Well, first, the thing that makes me so angry is I have a long writer for this show, but I don't fulfill any of it. And the problem is I leave it up to myself to do it, and I am too lazy. But yes, today's show, we are the follow-up to the offensive side of things. Today is we are talking about which returning non-starting Ohio State player on the defensive side of the ball will have the greatest impact in 2026. And by the time you're seeing this, I will have a shorter title for it, I am sure. I don't think YouTube allows what I have just put out there for you. But the thing about this one is there are several different answers, but it's also kind of cheating because we're looking for new starters, but the number of guys that we're talking about who have hundreds of snaps under their belt from last year is it'll be considerable, basically. So I think there's several different ways you can go here. I think for me, first, I'm going to go ahead and go with Payton Pierce at linebacker, expecting him to be a starter in there, inside linebacker, presumably replacing Sonny Styles as the de facto middle linebacker, the leading tackler of the team, 100-plus tackles, an effective blitzer, making an impact all over the place, following the line of going from linebacker number 3 to into the starting lineup. It has worked, as we always talk about with Cody Simon, worked with Arvell Reese. Now Payton Pierce is that next guy in. And so I'll go there, but Tom, that's not the only answer.
No, that was probably going to be the first answer I gave, just because I mean, if you are the guy wearing the green dot, everything runs through you. You're going to be, I mean, if you're the middle linebacker, if you're the Mike, you are literally right in the middle of everything that's happening. So, yeah, I think he's a great answer there, and probably would have been my first answer. But I thought, well, I bet Tony's going to say Peyton Pierce, so that will leave me Zion Grady. And great news, Zion Grady is probably at least, you know, I guess it depends on if you consider Devin Sanchez returning starter or not. So I will leave that ethical quandary for you. But Zion Grady to me is someone who feels very much like just next man up,
Mm-hmm.
where he came in as a true freshman, played enough that it crossed from guy playing a little bit, as you know, and maybe he'll redshirt or maybe he won't, to he's passing someone they brought in, as you know, in Bo Atkinson through the transfer portal, and they were expecting big things from Bo Atkinson, and then Zion Grady had passed him by the end of the year and was playing, you know, more snaps and in some key moments late in the season. So that in and of itself is a pretty good marker for this is someone who is destined for some bigger things at Ohio State. And with Caden Curry off to the NFL, Zion Grady feels like someone who is going to be the guy who takes that next big step at the edge position. And I don't think that means 13 sacks this year, but I think that means he's going to take a significant step from last season. And if he's in that, and we've kind of comped him to this sort of second year for Jack Sawyer kind of, or
Mm-hmm.
second year for JT Tuimoloau, where you're in that, you know, 4-ish sack range, 4 or 5 sacks, something like that. I think that would be a really, really solid second season for Zion Grady.
Tom, you know I don't like to, and I'm not complimenting you. I what I say is I think this is the classiest answer, right? This is the cleanest. This is the one that you look at it, and I mentioned the snap counts. And last year, Zion Grady played 104 snaps, right? Compare that to Peyton Pierce, 262. Peyton Pierce started one game, certainly not a returning starter, You mentioned Devin Sanchez, who started twice while Lorenzo Styles was out, 321 snaps last year. And, that's more than starting defensive tackle Taiwan Malone, right? So you get into these ethical quandaries, as you said, and you taking Zion Grady is like, that's good on you. That's makes the parents and the audience happy that they, this is a classy joint. That you can bring your kids here and you can eat your peanuts and you can throw them on the floor and whatnot. Because I mean, you could even. I don't think I was going to stop you, Tom, if you wanted to go Edric Houston. That's a bridge too far. Like he started 3 games. He's to me, you're in that rotation, and maybe that's where Devin Sanchez is as well. But he was not the starting cornerback last year. He was not one of the 2 starting corners last year. He presumably will be one of the 2 starting corners this year. And it's interesting that a lot of people watched him have his struggles last year and are almost ready to write him off. The same people that wanted him starting over Davis and Igbinosun at this time a year ago are the same people writing him off as like, well, he just can't play at Ohio State. It's not true. I think he's going to have a significant impact. He needs to, for one, and I think he will have a significant impact on this defense. And those 300 snaps that he had last year are going to certainly pay dividends. 321 snaps last year. Lorenzo Styles Jr., 404, to give you an idea of how close those 2 were. So I think it's not cheating for me to say that. It's not, Tom, as you would say, classless or below the belt. This is a guy who started twice because of injury and will now emerge as an outside corner for Ohio State and do very, very well. Let's not forget he was the top corner in the class for many, many reasons, and he got his experience. He got his feet wet. He got dunked. He went underwater a couple of times, and now he's come out the better for it.
Yeah, I know earlier in the show you were talking about needing a shorter, more concise title for this, but with you twice kind of taking the coward's way out and me doing things the right way, you could call this something like 14 bold predictions about the Ohio State defense. Well, you can workshop it there, but I think as long as you say 14 bold predictions, people know exactly what to expect from both of us. But yeah, Devin Sanchez, I think you could take a lot of the stuff that I said about Zion Grady and kind of swap Devin Sanchez in there. Now, Devin Sanchez was in there in playing meaningful snaps in game 1 last year, so he was a little bit ahead of Zion Grady on that front. But the fact that he was out there as a true freshman tells me more than almost anything else. In the moments that he was out there in the Michigan game, he was out there in the Indiana game, he was out there in the Miami game, he was out there in the Texas game to start the season. It was that in and of itself tells me everything I need to know about what the coaching staff thinks about him. And so the results last year, I almost discard those, and they weren't terrible. This wasn't someone who came in and was getting lit up all season. It wasn't great, but it was fine. It was for what you would expect out of a true freshman, or what you would get out of most true freshmen. That was about a 95th percentile outcome. Because most true freshmen aren't out there, because most true freshmen are extremely not ready. And he was about as ready as you see most true freshmen being able to be. So that in and of itself tells me bigger, better things on the way for him. And I think he's going to have a very, very good season. I think you mentioned Edric Houston, and Edric Houston is, I mean, he would have been a great answer for this last year, and played enough in that rotation with Taiwan Malone that I don't think he really qualifies. I think Will Smith is kind of in that same boat, where Will Smith played enough that I don't know that he really qualifies. So I'm going to go, boy, you've got a couple of young corners. Well, I guess the young corners don't count. So I guess I will go to, how about Riley Pettyjohn? Riley Pettyjohn is someone who was a true freshman last year. Again, same conversation. He didn't play a ton, but you saw him out there enough, and you saw enough out of him that it was kind of like, all right, there's something there. And you had heard from the coaching staff and heard from the folks around the program that, they like him a lot. you saw enough from him last year that you kind of went, okay, yeah, it's there, it's real, it's not here yet, it's on its way, and I don't know that it's even, I don't know that that is even something where he's going to show up and he's going to be someone who's getting 400 snaps this year. I don't think that's what they need him to be. I think he can sort of be in that role that Payton Pierce was last year. I think that's what Riley Pettyjohn can be this year. Again, last year was Payton Pierce's second year. This will be Riley Pettyjohn's second year. I think he can be in a role like that where he's sort of playing in a rotation, maybe earning a bigger role as the season goes, and then this time next year, boom, he's ready to really seize that starting job and run with it.
So I wanted to talk about Riley Pettyjohn. You mentioned that third linebacker. So last year, Payton Pierce 262 snaps in 14 games. The year before, Arvell Reese, that is that third linebacker, 307 in their 16 games. So I think that's something that you can expect for Riley Pettyjohn. The difference between Riley Pettyjohn and Arvell Reese is that the 76 snaps last year for Riley Pettyjohn were 76 more than Arvell Reese had as a true freshman leading into the sophomore season where he had 300 snaps. So I think there's obviously an opportunity for Riley Pettyjohn to have an impact in this defense. That's why we opened the show saying there's more names here that could be the real answer, could be the legitimate answer. And I think that's a very good thing for the Buckeyes, who also addressed some key holes in the transfer portal as well. So I think there are the makings for a fairly decent defense overall here for the Buckeyes when you look at the number of returning players who could be standout, let alone the guys that they're bringing in, and let alone the returning starters as well. So there you go. Just some names for you. Go ahead and throw your own pick in the comments. We don't mind. It's not just our show; it's your show as well. Throw some thoughts in there, and as you guys know, sometimes we'll pick at those and turn them into an entire show themselves. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. A 5-star rating and review is always welcome on the audio side. And as you know, you can continue to find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.